Chapter 2. The Leaping Lizard. In a quiet wooded area near Ottery St. Catchpole, a young wizard moved slowly through the brush, wand in one hand and a metal cage in the other. He lowered the cage carefully to the ground and stood still, listening. A rustle came from somewhere to his left, then another behind him. He turned slowly and saw it, a large, pale, cream-colored lizard gliding through the grass and undergrowth. Its sky-blue eyes, ringed in black, fixed on him with eerie intelligence. Looking over his shoulder, he realized the creature stretched far behind him as well, its long, snake-like body circling him almost completely. "Well, I found you," he said, relaxing a little. "What's the trouble then? Why are you bothering people? That's not like you." He glanced along its length, frowning. "You're only supposed to be a harmless 40-foot goblin finger lizard. Terrible name, by the way." The creature lifted its head a few feet into the air. Its scales seemed to shift and reassemble as it moved, as though it were struggling to hold itself together. The wizard lifted his wand, but before he could do anything, the lizard burst away with an astonishing flash of speed. He lowered his wand and stood staring after it for a moment, then gave a small shrug. Back at the Ministry Aurors office, Harry and Ron were looking over a new case. "All right," Ron said, scanning the report. "Missing Ministry intern, unidentified magical creature. Anything else?" Harry held up a note. "There's this, too. It's from Luna. She says, this creature is not dangerous. It's misunderstood." Ron gave him a look. "Of course it is." Harry and Ron apparated to the village square in Ottery St. Catchpole, where they found Luna Lovegood sitting on a bench with a book in her lap. She looked up as they approached. "Well, look at you both," she said. "Aurors at last. How have you been, Luna?" Harry asked. "Very well, thank you. You both look splendid. Very fitting." Ron smiled despite himself. "Thank you, Luna. You do look better. My dad said your father came to visit. He didn't need to apologize for anything." Luna gave him a small, patient smile. "Thank you, Ron." "Shall we?" Harry asked. Luna stood, took both their hands, and apparated the three of them to a field a few miles outside town, surrounded by low hills and rough grass. The place was quiet, open, and still. Luna looked across the field. "I saw the creature here. It shouldn't be in this area. It's lost, I think. It looked like a goblin finger lizard. They're rare because they avoid people. They're very long, and they can escape with a burst of speed if they're threatened. They almost look as though they disappear, but they're only moving very quickly. They can grow to 40 feet. She hesitated. This one looked cursed. It was agitated, unstable. The ministry sent an intern from Magical Creatures to catch it yesterday, and I've started to worry. I haven't heard anything from him." Harry scanned the field but saw nothing useful at first. "Maybe we ought to go back and get brooms," he said. "Have a proper look from above." Ron nodded, but Luna spoke before either of them could move. "I don't think that will be necessary." From behind a hedge at the edge of the field, a young man emerged carrying a cage. Inside it somehow was a much smaller version of the lizard. Luna hurried forward. "Are you all right? What happened?" The young man looked a little out of breath. "Well, they're very fast, you see. Only over short distances." He came over to them and held out a hand. "Rolf Scamander, Magical Creatures." "Hello, I'm—" Harry began. "Harry Potter and Ronald Weasley. Sorry," Rolf said at once, looking genuinely embarrassed. "I didn't mean to interrupt." Harry glanced at the cage. "What have you got there?" Rolf lifted it slightly so they could see the creature more clearly. "Once I shrank it, it couldn't move so quickly." "What's wrong with it?" Ron asked. He frowned as he looked at the lizard's shifting scales. "It looks uncomfortable." "I'm not sure," Rolf said. "It isn't a mutation. Something else is affecting it. A curse, maybe." Harry leaned closer to inspect the creature. The moment he did, the lizard lunged at him and struck the bars of the cage with a violent snap. Harry flinched back. "These lizards don't attack," Rolf said, sounding more startled now. "They run. They're docile. Something isn't right." Harry said nothing for a moment, thinking. "Ron," he said at last, "could you see if Neville can meet us here? There's something I want to check." Not long after, Neville arrived with Luna, but as soon as he drew near, he stopped. "Neville?" Harry said. Neville's voice came out low and uneasy. "It's the same feeling." The grass around him began to shift. A vine burst up from the ground, and in the confusion knocked the cage from Rolf's hands. The cage hit the earth and sprang open. The lizard shot out, still shrunken at first, and then suddenly expanded to its full size. "My spell's broken," Rolf said. The surrounding plants seemed to stir with a strange energy, as though all of them were responding to the creature's panic. The lizard moved slowly toward Neville. Neville and the lizard locked eyes. Then everything went still. The creature curled up and seemed to settle, almost as if it were asleep. Harry and Ron stepped closer, wands ready. "No!" Neville shouted. Without warning, the lizard began to thrash violently, its body twisting as though something were pulling it apart in different directions. Harry and Ron moved in, but the creature snapped at them, forcing them back. Harry raised his wand. Neville stepped forward at once and caught their wrists. "Wait! Don't!" The lizard froze. It hissed, low and thin. The sound was unmistakably Parseltongue, though neither Harry nor Ron could understand it. Neville, however, heard something else in the sound. Just for a second. Not a threat, not anger. Fear. A voice, soft and broken, whispered, "Help me." Neville looked shaken. A flash of light and a sharp swoosh, and Rolf and Luna had the lizard safely back in the cage. "This isn't natural," Rolf said. Something is trying to change it or use it. Luna watched the cage a moment longer before answering softly. Or it's trying to become something it remembers. Later, back in the village square, Harry and Ron said goodbye to Rolf, Luna, and Neville before heading back to the ministry. Plants behaving strangely, Harry said, and now a lizard behaving strangely. Ron gave him a sidelong look. Two odd cases. That doesn't mean they're connected. Harry's expression had gone thoughtful. No, I think they are. Ron frowned. But how? Back at Hogwarts, Neville washed his face at the greenhouse basin and looked down into the water. For a moment, his reflection changed. Serpentine eyes stared back at him. Neville blinked, and they were gone.